Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to try to handle these special like Dingbat, Wingding, hieroglyphic type ciphers. So these are also symbol ciphers and things like that. So basically, when you see any type of cipher that basically is using some kind of other symbol to represent the letters of the alphabet, that's what you're looking at right here. So just some tips and tricks on how to help hard code that, like hard break this, because it's overwhelming, and there's a few things that you need to know before you start doing this. So number one, there's the steps you want to do is number one, do I have enough information to figure these letters out, or at least figure out some of the letters? Now, if you are working on Hunt a Killer Blair Witch, they do give you extra things to help you with the symbols on them to help you try and figure out some of the letters. But if you didn't have something like that, here are some ways that you can start figuring things out. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is the very first thing I always do is there's always like two words in the English language that only have one letter. So that's I and A. So what I do first is I look and I find anything that's sitting by itself, and those are my letters I and A. And then another thing that I look for is I can't determine really which one of these is which. So if I look at my next word, it has the symbol again, but I could be the word in, it could be an, am, any of those. So I know that it's got one of those letters, but I'm not quite sure. It could be it, is, we have no idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. So another thing that's important to know is paying attention to punctuation. If your sentences do have punctuation, it is a big help, because always the first word of a sentence with a question can only be so many different words. And this one has 3 letters. So that leaves me with the words who, how, and can are the most common question words. But if it was 4 letters, it could be like when, what, who, what, when, where, why. Why could also be a 3-letter one. How, can, and will. So I always want to pay attention to my punctuation, because that might also tell me, because a lot of times these are handwritten, so they will have real punctuation in them. So I need to figure out which one of these words, 3-letter words, could be here, but it has one of my letters in it. So it has to be the word can, because there's no other words that have an I in the middle that are 3 letters. So this word is can. So as I'm doing these, typically what I do is I have like a separate sheet of paper where I would write down like A, B, C, and keep going all the way down the alphabet. And as I figure it out, I would be putting the symbol there next to it so that I know. So when I go back to figure out the rest later, if I get more of these crazy symbols, I can go back and just look at my list. So in this one, I know that what C, A, and N are, and because I determined that this was A, I now know that this is I. So then I can go back in, and anyone I actually know, I'm going to go through and I'm going to just add in the ones that I know. So I know this is I, and you basically are going to keep doing this until you start to figure out more words. And the easiest ones to figure out also is, like in this example, I don't have enough sentences here to really figure out, but in Blair Witch, for example, you have plenty when you get to box number 2. So you're going to be looking for words that are like 3-letter words like the, and. So if I start seeing like 3-letter word, like here's a 3-letter word here, and if this keeps repeating, I know it's most likely one of these words, because there's quite a few frequency words that happen in the English language that are most common. And I can tell right now this isn't the word and, because it doesn't start with my letter A here. So my guess is it's the. Now I can sit here and plug and play all this to figure it out. Another big one that you can figure out some letters is when you see double letters in the middle, because there's only so many letters that will repeat in the middle. So that's probably D, L, M, but like there's certain other ones like T could be another one. But if I think this is the word the, then it's probably not T, and things like that. So this is like the thought process that I'm going through to try and figure this out. But these are just some tips and tricks to help you try and figure out these letters. Obviously, if you have multiple sentences, I'm going to skip around as I go to try and figure out what certain words are. Eventually, like how I figured out can, I can go now in and fill all those letters in. And then I figure out another word, like this could be an or am or at, but at doesn't make sense there. So and doesn't make sense there. So this is probably an M. I am. And I would just sit there and I would just keep going as I figured out each letter and just filling them in until I start. The more words you can figure out, obviously the bigger your list is going to get. And then eventually you will be able to figure out these words. Now, also be mindful, not every single time that you are doing these type of ciphers that you're going to find every single letter. The most common letters you will not find are J, X, and Q for obvious reasons. So if you do not find those three, don't be alarmed. They may pop up in other boxes as you can continue going if you're doing a subscription box, but generally speaking, these are some of the strategies you want to be using when trying to figure out what the letters are. So I hope that helps you guys and you guys are able to figure out your boxes. Please leave me feedback if you have any other comments or questions, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!